Have you ever wondered what God really thinks about modern entertainment? Is everything that amuses us harmless? Or are some of these hobbies silently moving us away from heaven without us realizing it? In today's world, it seems that the more flashy, noisy, and engaging entertainment, the more it is valued. But what about the perspective of heaven? Is there fun that the Holy Spirit is saddened? Ellen White was direct and clear when addressing topics such as theater, lotteries, gambling, and worldly entertainment. She did not write to please, but to alert. And what she wrote was not just a personal opinion. Her words echo deep warnings about a spiritual battle that happens where we least expect it, in small daily decisions, in the habits we consider harmless. In this video, we will open Ellen White's writings and show exactly what she said about these themes bluntly. You will understand why these subjects are still so relevant today at a time when entertainment has become a priority in many people's lives. If you are an Adventist sympathizing or simply want to understand why certain types of fun are seen with caution by those seeking a consecrated life, stay with me until the end. This video can open your eyes to things that you may never have considered dangerous and already enjoy to leave here in the comments. Do you believe that all kinds of fun is acceptable for those who follow Christ? Yes or no? And if you want, you also share your biggest difficulty on this topic. I will read everything and pray with you for that. Let's start with the theater. For many, it is considered art, culture, expression, but Ellen White writes in Messages to Young People, page 398, that theater is one of Satan's most effective instruments to fill the mind with corrupt thoughts. She states that no influence has been more effective for corrupting imagination and destroying the religion of the heart. According to her, the theater environment with its exciting scenes, its exaggerations and sensory stimuli, excites the senses, erases consciousness, and makes room for unclean thoughts. She says, young people who frequent the theater no longer feel pleasure in devotion and lose interest in spiritual things. This is not just a moral criticism. It is a spiritual alert. To go to places like the theater for Ellen White weakens moral sense, falls asleep consciousness, and prepares the ground for other falls. Now, let's talk about lotteries and gambling. In the Adventist Home, page 363, Ellen White is categorical. These practices promote selfishness, greed, and illusion that it is possible to get a reward without work. She writes, lotteries and gambling are a form of theft disguised as opportunity. These words seem hard but are necessary, because in fact this kind of fun feeds the desire for easy profit, destroys the sense of justice, and undermines the Christian character. More than an addiction, these games have become a lifestyle that ends the dignity of the person. How many families have not been destroyed because of betting addiction? How many debts? How many broken marriages? How many lives ruined by the false promise of earning more? Ellen White did not see these habits only as financial dangers, but as spiritual traps. And what about worldly fun in general? In The Way to Christ, Chapter 7, she explains that many amusements that the world offers are only distractions that steal time and deviate the eyes of Christ. For her, the true Christian finds joy in simple things, in the activities that build character, which bring us closer to God and others. She says we need to choose entertainment that develop in us love for what is pure, true, and eternal. Songs, movies, social networks, television shows, parties, everything needs to go through the sieve of eternity. Does it help me grow spiritually, or are you just distracting me? What matters most? A very strong phrase by Ellen White says, the mind gradually adapts to what it is concerned with. If our time is full of content that feeds the ego, sensuality, violence, and empty competition over time, this is what will shape our character. And character is the only thing we will take to heaven. So the problem is not the fun itself. It's the kind of fun. The enemy knows that he does not need to directly attack a person's faith. Just seduce her with small concessions. just a little game, just an episode, just a party. And so gradually he erases spiritual fervor, takes prayer time, replaces praise with empty playlists, and exchanges the Sabbath with any other commitment. In the end, Ellen White's message on these subjects is clear. The Christian life is made of conscious choices, and even fun must glorify God. In 1 Corinthians 10:31, Paul wrote, "Therefore, whether you eat or do anything else, do everything to the glory of God." This anything else includes what we watch, where we are going, with whom we are, and what we choose to invest our free time. Ellen White never encouraged a sad life, secluded or without joy. Quite the contrary, she speaks in The Science of Balm Living about the value of nature, music, edifying, reading, Christian conviviality. The true joy is the one that strengthens, not the one that empties. It is the one that leaves consciousness light, not heavy. We live in a society that normalizes sin and mocks holiness. People think that being a Christian is living a limited life, when in fact it is the world that limits our true freedom. The pleasure the world offers is shallow passenger and charges a high price. But the joy that comes from God is clean, deep, and lasting. If you feel that you have let your spiritual life be drained by habits that seem harmless, today is the day to reevaluate. Ask the Holy Spirit discernment. He will show you what strengthens your faith and what just holds you. And remember, every decision, however small, shapes who we are becoming and who we will be for all eternity. If this video spoke to you, share with someone who also needs to rethink your choices. Write here in the comments which of these topics confronted you today. Theater, games, social networks, parties. Let's talk about it without judgment, only with truth and prayer. Perhaps right now the Holy Spirit is speaking to his heart. And if it is true, do not harden your ears, because God doesn't want to deprive you of joy. He wants to show you a much better way, a path where the mind is free, the heart is clean, and the soul finds peace. The enemy has offered entertainment as a substitute for the presence of God. But no movie, no game, no lottery, no stage, no screen can fill the void that only the sky can fill. Ellen White's words are not old-fashioned. They are eternal alerts, warnings of warning in a world that runs without direction. When she wrote about these things, she was seeing beyond time. She knew that our century would be flooded with distractions, and that the real danger would not be the evil declared, but the evil disguised as leisure. What are you put in front of your eyes? What has feeding your mind? What would you do today if you knew that Jesus would come back tomorrow? The verse of Psalms 10:13 is not just a beautiful quote, but a practical call for a consecrated life in every respect, including what we consume in secret. What goes through the mind shapes who we are. And even if no one sees, the sky sees and cares. God doesn't just want our Sabbath. He wants our whole attention, time, choices, and even leisure. Christ has not died for a half-term life, but to free us from all that weakens faith, including entertainment disguised as an innocent. The sky is calling you now to choose what is eternal. And if this message spoke to you, be sure to watch the next video here on the screen, where we will reveal the 3 largest spiritual dangers disguised as normal. This may be the beginning of a real transformation, and your next prayer can be the most important step of your walk with God.